All right, welcome back. This is MDawg. We are here at Tunguska, right here in spawn, and excited to bring you an video focused on ultralight. So we're going to go way up here to G4, no, G5, right around where camp is. And we're going to do some ultralight fishing, something I don't get to do enough of, if you ask me. Something I really enjoy, but don't actually ultimately spend enough time doing. But there's a spot that, as we often do, we're going to check. Folks are reporting that they're doing pretty well in the spot. In fact, our goal for a day of fishing will be 500 silver. We'll just do sun up to sundown in a full 24-hour period. Someone's reporting getting about 550 or so silver without cafe. So we're going to test that and see how we can do. We'll use one or two different lures, mostly going to use the red and orangish yellow, whatever, popper. I'll show you everything once we get set up. But let me go ahead and make some progress to the spot, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are at this spot. If I back up a little bit and kind of look around so that you can see where we are, it's right here near this big rock. And be careful on this rock. Actually, this is the second time I've started this video. The first time I started it, I was sort of perched up on the rock, came down into the water, and was completely stuck. So try not to do that if you can. But yeah, we're really going to be casting basically where I'm looking right now, sort of straight across. In fact, we can go ahead and do a sample cast here. This is the lure we're going to focus on. We may try some other lures as well. Depends on what's kind of showing up on the weekly list. But this is the one that Yaroslav Porvatov on VK is reporting that he did so well with. And we're going to do one cast here just to sort of show you how we're going to be doing this. We might cast a little farther left than that. But we're going to just shift reel on 50 retrieval. And now that I see how aggressively it goes down the stream, yeah, we'll try different. Maybe we'll cast a little more at the stream. So you see that stream over there. If you look on the map, you see it's feeding into the larger creek or river here. And we kind of want to aim just right of that or thereabouts. The current will run it to the right as we are drifting it back in or pulling it back in with shift 50 retrieval speed. So what that means is we've got retrieval speed set to 50. We're going to hold down shift, and as we retrieve by pressing the left mouse button, we'll do it in short bursts, and that will give us the walk the dog notification. Looks like people in chat, in our in-game chat, are catching lots of trophy gibbles and crucians. Good to see that spot is still active. Okay, it's currently midnight in game. Let's look at a couple things here, and then I will probably pause the video till about 4 a.m. and we'll start fishing at 4. Unless the sun comes up at Tunguska before that. I don't think it does, but we'll aim for about a 4 a.m. start. But let's go ahead and get stuff set up first. We have our first setup here and our second setup here. I just don't know what we're putting on our second setup yet. So 6.9 fluorocarbon leader on our first setup with a nice wobbler. I'm just seeing here that we probably ought to actually put this slightly stronger line since we've got 6.9 on the leader, which means I guess we go with 8.2. So that's a better setup of our rod. Okay, so we know that the fish we're primarily going to be catching here, I say we know, if we have the same result that the person whose stuff we're using, it looks like we're going to be catching Arctic grayling. So we could look at using the F006 popper. We're also going to be catching, and this is exciting, the brown trout. So once again, the F006. And the thing that's a little bit unusual, oh, sorry, this is on all-time records. Forget the lures we're seeing. I'm just showing the fish species. The thing that's a little bit unusual is he caught a couple of pink salmon in this spot as well. So those are the 3 species, if I had to say what we're hoping that we catch. If our results are similar to his, then that's kind of what we're looking at. There might be a couple of off bycatch. But okay, so if we look at current weeklies, so let's kind of remember this. We've got the Spiker 02. this does show up. I mean, now this is just the popper that everyone uses. So when the 06 popper shows up on the weekly list, just remember, it's not only because it's good, it's because what everyone uses. There's just more of them in the water than other lures. So you always keep that into account. I'm not saying it's not a good lure, it's a great lure. But just keep that into account. Let's see if we can find where the next species is. By the way, it is possible we could catch not this one, but the other Linnick. All right, here's a brown trout. So we've got the 05, the 16, the 05, and the 18. Let me go back up to this one more time. The only overlap is the 05 and the 18. So 05 and 18. And the other thing we wanted to look at is the pink salmon. And we do have a 16 here. So now it kind of makes me think 16. Maybe we see how the bite rate is on the 16. Just in case we want to try a spiker. And then we could also occasionally switch to the 18 or the Hornet 05, I would say. Okay, so it's 1:18 in the morning. I will be back at 4 a.m. and we will get this party started. Be right back. All right, and we're back. So I figure, let's go ahead and get started here. It's 3:23, but it does look like the sun's starting to come up. So it'd be nice to see what the bite rate is like as it sort of starts to turn on. Oh, let's don't do that again. All right, so let's see if we can start catching fish here. We got a couple lures to start with. Oh, you know what? We haven't set up the other one. I better switch to the other rod real quick when we get this in. And yeah, we need to switch to the other one. We need to set up the other one. I don't think I have. Yeah, we don't need that strong of stuff here on this. 8.2 is fine. And let's just go 6.9 on this one as well. Okay, so now we've got that set up. That's great. So one thing that, let's eat our carrots. One thing that will be interesting to see. So, you know, if you cast right here, you'll notice that you pull it in at a different angle. I mean, if you cast down here, yes, the line ends up like almost at the shore, but you're fishing a different spot because of that angle, how fast the current is. So there's our first fish of the day. It is a marker and it's an Arctic grayling. We will take that. So see, I don't know, hopefully you understand what I'm saying here. Like if I cast straight ahead, by the time the current gets it down to here, we've already reeled it in a certain amount. So we're actually not fishing the exact same water. And there's a nice brown trout. Okay. Well, it is morning. It's 4 a.m. The sun is up. And we're trying to be that early bird, trying to get that worm. So I guess I'm just going to go back and forth. We've now caught fish casting in either sort of direction that I was just mentioning about. So let's see. This is the further down, aiming a little more to the right, so that we really get that lure farther out towards the bend. But again, if we don't catch something, we end up the end of the experience ends up not as good. So we had two nice fish in a row there, and now we've had a couple of casts without a fish. Is this going to be one of those variable spots, kind of bouncing back and forth? I feel like there's a fish chasing it, right? Yeah. There's a tiny fish, but I saw that little sardine chasing it. All right, just for fun, let's switch to this one really quick. Yeah, we'll start off with 25 retrieval. That's fine. And we're just going to do straight retrieval. This is a little slower retrieve, so I don't know what will happen. Oh, there we go. I don't know what will happen with the, if we don't get a bite, it might like, you know, drift all the way down. All right, so there's another grayling just in the marker range, which we'll take. And then we'll switch back to this immediately. Gonna try to let this popper be our main lure, because this is the lure that the person we're basing our challenge on was using. Oh, that's a nice one. Anything over 500 grams, I'm feeling okay about on those Arctic graylings. those can be pretty frequently showing up around that 500 gram range as cafe orders here at Tunguska. So that is something we'll want to check once our fishing day is over. All right, there's a little small brown trout. So we're at least going to try to go 2-to-1 ratio here of popper to the spinnerbait. And we'll do a little speed up on this one because, again, we're going to end up over here on the shore. I'll just be curious, like, how often do we get activity? I mean, we've seen the fish chase it pretty close to us, but, you know, I suspect most of our bites are going to be fairly early on in the process. All right, let's cast this one farther right again. Let's see what happens. There we go. That's what we want to see. That is what we want to see. And there's our first linnick. That's the sharp-snouted linnick. I figured that was going to be a possibility over here. Might be considered bycatch if we don't get very many of them, but they could show up a little bit. I do wonder if the other grayling might show up as well. Talking about bycatch. All right, so there's 2 casts in a row. When we cast farther to the right, we got a pretty easy bite. When we cast straight ahead into the mouth of the little stream, we had no activity. So very small data point, but was interesting. All right, one more cast, then we'll give the spinnerbait another quick try. Just want to try to see if what fish we can catch while we're here in the early morning hours. It is a sunny day, 7.9 currently, temperature-wise. All right, it's a nice little brown trout, not quite marker, but still a pretty little fish. All right, now we go out with this one. I'm going to go down to 24 retrieval speed. This is a small fish. Gotta hope it's grayling, but it looks like it might be a little brown trout. Yeah, it is a little brown trout. I'm gonna go back to back on this one real quick, just for fun. And since it's sunny, I do think if it stays sunny, at some point we're going to switch to that Hornet 05 as our secondary lure. This dark one is fine, but I would like this a little better in cloudy. I would be a little more confident in cloudy. Now this one I think is great for the weather. Let's see what we can catch. I wish we could cast this popper a little bit farther, which I can already hear. Last time I did ultralight, someone made a comment. This was at Yama. How they... Look, this is a nice fish right here, by the way. This is a brown trout, and it's over a kilo. That's what we want right there. Somebody made the comment that they use Cibrellino because it allows them to get these little poppers or other light lures as far... casting as far away as they want. And there would be something to be said for... I wish I had set that up and we could test it real quick. I don't think I'm going to take the time to set it up now that we're fishing though. But just know that that's an option. If you have the capability of using Cibrellino rigs, then you could get a regular setup and then hook it up Cibrellino rig type. And because of the weight of the Cibrellino float, you could... or it's not always a float, sometimes it's a sink, but you could really cast this thing. Obviously you'd use the float with this setup because you want to keep these lures at the top, but you could really cast this thing all the way over there into that other creek if you wanted to. I don't know that that's necessary. I think we're actually casting to a pretty good spot here, but you could extend it a little bit. That might be interesting. All right, let's get one more of these in before I switch it to the Hornet. Hope it's not a little brownie, but I think it is. Yeah. So we need to remember this is the 16, but we are going to try the Hornet 05. And let's just go ahead and cast it one time before we switch back to our popper. Because if this ends up letting us down a little bit, we'll go back to the 16 or maybe the 18. Oh, somebody's chasing it. Small, but it's chasing. Little Cisco. Alright. One thing I did want to try just for fun, let's cast farther left one time. So we're actually going left of that little place where the creek deposits into this to the river. Which means, in some ways, it's a better retrieval because we don't end up at the coast over here as fast. However, we don't fish the same spot, and that same spot might be the best spot. Maybe we need to do some more pregnant pauses here early. Because it's early that we're going to get the bite if we're going to get one. And now we aggressively get it in. Alright, let's go even farther right. Okay, walk the dog is up. I thought that was going to be a good strat, but we certainly did not get a bite. It's a little unnerving. I mean, this is 7:30 a.m. This should be about as good of a fishing as you could imagine for this spot. And it feels like it has slowed down a little bit, although these fish are nice, valuable fish, good XP. I mean, we're catching plenty. Don't get me wrong, but I love it. Couple fish in a row, we've gotten some nice ones here. I'm going to keep it going. We're still, our best fish, I believe, is going to be that 1 kilo brown trout we had earlier. That's what we've had so far. I think we've had the most consistent positive experience casting just to the right. Just to the right of the creek coming into the river. I mean, like this cast right here is about what I'd want to do every time, I think. But I also want to eat another carrot. There we go. Carrot wins again. Oh, this can be a grayling. Love to see it because this is a healthy grayling. 431 grams, not quite 500, but that is nice. So all of the graylings have been the Arctic so far. Oh, perfect. Quick bite. And this looks like, is that a salmon? It's small. Yeah, it's a little pink salmon. That's what we want to see. That is what we want to see. Alright, let's throw that hornet out again. Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, we're catching fish, so I'm not going to throw the hornet out just yet. This is a linnick? No, it's a brown trout. No, it's a salmon. I don't know what it is. Alright, brown trout. You would just love to see that one fish take us for a ride, right? Actually hard to get in. It's hard to drink coffee when you're ultralight fishing, I'm finding out. Ooh, this is almost big enough to take us for a ride. Here we have a nice brown trout. This can be 1.3 kilo. We have a new best fish of the day. All right. I'm going to go a little bit slower. Oops. Man. A little grayling. I don't think that had to do with slower, to be honest, but maybe it did. There we go. Alright, the hornet's starting to at least catch some fish. I still like the popper being our main, but that hornet is starting to catch some fish, which we love to see. Oh, yes. See how we let it sit there just as long as possible while keeping the dog walking happening. I think this is a linnock, right? No, that's a taimen. A tiny taimen. Wow. You shouldn't have. Very small brown trout. Okay, so that's a, you know, a place that we haven't been getting bites that often, kind of like right down there. That's only our second pink salmon. We still don't have a marker. Would love to see a healthy pink salmon while we're here. I just really hope this doesn't slow down to a tremendous amount. During the daytime. I'm a little bit concerned. All right, let's go back up to 25. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. A little nervous. It's 10:13 in the morning, and it's been a minute since we've had a good catch. Let's see. Still fully sunny. We're now up at 9.8 degrees. Let's cast slightly different spot. We'll go straight middle, then we'll go farther right. I don't think straight middle has been as good, but I did want to try it one more time since we're just trying to find a bite right now. All right, now let's go further right. Took a little longer to get walk the dog. I think I was like stumbling around there for a second. Yeah, that didn't look, I just don't like the way that one looked. It goes so far right. Still think this is our best bet. All right, there it is. There it is. All right, little grayling. Ramps over the rock. Oh, there's the other type, East Siberian. So we have seen the bycatch of the East Siberian now. See if we get any more of those. All right, there's walk the dog. Let it sit. It's got to hit it. All right, it's probably not going to hit it. We got past the point that we want to be at. Slowing down. Good morning, bite. Now it seems like it's just desperately trying to find a bite rate during the day here. There's an Arctic again, but just too small. We didn't get walk on that second. You really want to see it on the second retrieval. Popping up walk the dog. See if we can get it again. 1, 2. Worked that time. Now, one thing that's interesting, and things have slowed down so much, I think this is worth trying. I'm actually going to throw just straight fluorocarbon line on here, take off the leader entirely. So we have no leader, we're just using fluorocarbon. Let's see what happens. Overall, I usually like having a leader on, but every once in a while I'll do this and it'll end up being really good. Okay, that was a late bite. We're not used to getting those late bites. Pink salmon. That's the second. We've had 3 pink salmon. That's the second one that came pretty late in the process. I mean, we're not going to be able to say, that it looks any worse. It also doesn't look like this change has made it any better. I think that's probably fair to say. 24 retrieval. We could start working in some pausing, maybe. I don't know. Instead of the speed up, just count on the fact that if we're going to catch it, it's going to be here early. So work in some pausing. A lot of basically just letting the lure drift a lot more in the current. What is that little fella? Man, we are on the tiny micro pink salmon. So this is something that it's harder to replicate with the popper. Oh my goodness. What is going on with that? So strange. So strange. We just did 3 pink salmon in a row. None of them markers. I don't know. Try replicating that. Might not be worth much, but be hard to replicate. So it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's like we gotta just suffer through this bite rate, and then we see there's a little linnock. Okay. Then we see what it's like as the day goes on, as the afternoon, early evening sets in. Maybe we get another little rush of good fishing. I tell you right now, we're probably not hitting 500 unless something changes, though. 500 silver is not looking great at the moment. All right, let's see if we can carefully, we're going to switch spots just slightly here, see if we can carefully cast from here. Just get a little bit more distance, a little different angle. Hopefully not get stuck in the water. I feel like I'm already stuck in the water, but hopefully not. Okay, I think we're good. Interesting. Didn't get it on the second one. Might have gone too fast. I think I went too fast again. There we go. All right. Oh, this looks like a decent grayling, actually. Yes, almost 500 grams again. Come on, let's turn the corner. I keep thinking like, oh, I want to cast the spinnerbait again. And then I just keep casting this one instead. Oh, did we ever put... We never put the leader back on, did we? I didn't mean to do that forever. Is this braid? Yeah. That's fine. I know it's 6.9, 6.9, but that's fine. It's all good. Theoretically, that long leader we're using also does like help the lure to sort of play out a little differently. How much does that matter in this game, the way it's programmed? I don't know. But you would think there would be a difference having a leader, not having a leader, obviously, with just the way the lure works. I'm going to still do pauses instead of speed up, but I'm going to try to do them less often. I was doing it like every couple of rotations. Ooh, there we go. Jump the rock. I mean, if it's a grayling, it's an okay size. Anything else is pretty small, right? Ooh, Arctic char. Just, that's cool just in the sense as it adds another species to the list of off-catch that we've had here. Catching that taimen means that, you know, we kind of have a chance to max out the off-catch species list in some ways. Like, I would think that would be the more rare one up here. We never did any pauses. I guess that's okay. So we have mostly used this this popper. We've caught a few fish on the spinner baits, the spiker and the hornet, but primarily 90% of our casts probably have been this. At least 75% of our casts have been this popper, if not more. Oh, we messed that up. Not that that's too big a deal. Remember, you still catch fish even if you don't have a retrieval speed pop up. The retrieval speed just gives you a little bonus chance. So it's not the end of the world if you're retrieving a lure and you don't have any sort of retrieval speed at all. If it falls off for one reason or another, just keep doing what you're doing. Try to catch the fish. Man, what would happen if we cast from here? Would the whole spot die? Apparently not. We are in a different spot, but we don't have to deal with the rock. We do need to catch. That's a nice Cisco. We do need to catch just like a few more really nice fish if we're going to make a run at even a respectable silver amount, much less hit that 500 goal. I mean, these type of fish do add up. And in the morning, we did have some decent ones. But we didn't have 500 silver worth of decent ones. Come on. We need a couple of big boys to hit before the sun goes down. Still at 14.9 degrees. Not sure if it's taken the turn yet to start to cool off yet or not. Completely sunny. We've had a fully sunny day, it looks like. Although the next few days will be overcast, and I just don't know. Like, that actually might be a little better for this spot. Might not be. I don't know. Again, it's been way too long since I have done ultralight fishing at Tunguska. But it's good to be back. I like this. I like fishing with smaller, agile setups like this. All right, let's get back into our lucky spot so that we don't, which is interesting. I think I started down here, but to be fair, this is still 162.34 and just makes more sense. We just have one rock to deal with instead of 2.5. All right, we definitely want to let it pause some here in the beginning because we threw it a little far left there. All right, now we can just straight retrieve, I think. All right, broke the surface. Now we'll do speed up. There we go. All right, another Linux. One more cast before we go back to popper. I might just straight retrieve from beginning to end on this one. Oh, okay. Maybe we keep doing a couple casts till we don't catch a fish. What is that? An eyed? That's 9 fish species, I think, if I saw that correctly. Oh, we should have switched. Alright, we're switching after this, even if we catch a trophy brown trout. Rainbow trout. Brown trout. Brown trout. Have I gotten away from casting far enough right? Is that the problem? That's a grayling. Could be a marker. Nope. So we have seen a few Arctics mixed in. Nope. We've seen plenty of Arctics. We've seen a couple of, what, East Siberian? Plenty of Arctics, only one East Siberian. Dang, that is... East Siberian is not the primary target. Just catching these small fish. I wonder if we would have had a better or worse session on Ciberlino. Finally. One decent pink salmon. Finally got over the kilo mark. So it's 1941. Are we finally going to see some decent fish coming in before the window closes at nighttime? Not much. Surprised we haven't seen another kind of decent marker brown trout here at the end of the day. Maybe this will be it. No, that's another rainbow. I mean, pink salmon. I think we cast till 11, although not sure that we expect a whole lot else to happen past 10. Temp is finally going back down a little bit. Nighttime is setting in. Old Faithful. I mean, it's just a little darker color now that there's no light left. We tricked something into biting. Well, it's 11:08 and we at least got a microbite. All right, that's full on nighttime. All right, let's go check it out. I'm skeptical that that we did good at all, but let's go check it out. Do you have a guess? If you've been paying a little bit of attention, do you have a guess? I will pull up the net here in a second and we can kind of look at it before we actually pull up the fish market or the cafe. I don't know. I'm feeling like 300 silver. Like we did okay. I bet we did, between 200 and 300 silver, but we did not hit 500. And the person who reported that they hit 500, I mean, look how quickly. I mean, we got so few fish over a kilo. And if you look at the grayling, only 2 grayling over 500. I mean, to me, that just points to way less silver than what we were hoping for. Yeah, 206. That's even worse than I was guessing, obviously. And looks like very unlucky. I mean, if you hit that trophy, but other than that, not a whole lot to go for on the cafe at the moment. So pink salmon is our #1 fish, but even that, only 27 silver. We just didn't get them. We just didn't get enough fish pushed up to the high mark. Now, one thing I'm haven't mentioned yet, the person that caught 556 silver of fish in an hour, they did have a trophy brown trout. And you're not going to have a trophy brown trout every hour. You might have that every 7 hours or less. I don't even know. And after that, I mean, that was 150 of their silver. After that, obviously they still did a lot better than we did. They had a couple of really nice grayling. They had one that was over a kilo. And they had a linnock that was over 2 kilos. And a second brown trout, it wasn't a trophy, but it was 2.6. So they just had like 4 or 5 fish at the top that we never caught. So our result not as good, their result better. It was still fun though. I like ultralight fishing. Although I will tell you, it's got to be popping off because, that's a lot of work. I mean, it feels pretty intense, and 200 silver has always been pretty good. So if you can hit 200 silver, that's not terrible. But for how much sort of intensity of casting over and over and over it is, yeah, you'd kind of like to do a little better than what we just did. But anyway, it was fun, and I hadn't fished the Tunguska River in quite a while, so I'm glad we had a chance to do that. As always, tight lines. If you check it out, let me know how your experience is here in the small river of Tunguska. But until next time, I will see you later.